Start.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to you all, respected speaker and distinguished participants. I am pleased to welcome you all in today's webinar on importance of reading for self-development. This is a part of a series of online talks organized by National Digital Library of India, that is NDLI Club of Siliguri Institute of Technology, in association with the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering and Central Library, Siliguri Institute of Technology. We all understand the importance of science, technology, and innovation in our day-to-day life and the ways in which they are transforming the whole world. But reading book is essential for every aspect of our life. Today's talk aims at providing key inputs on reading book which can be a valuable resource for our journey to fulfillment. We all have areas of our life where
Hello. I think the video of the organizer's side was stuck up on my part. So I think I have to start. Okay. Distinguished professors, scholars, and my dear students, I am very much glad to be invited to this platform of repute and to be able to share my ideas on a subject of great significance with the young people of the present generation. The topic is importance of reading, but not in general, specifically for life building, self-development, how to improve ourselves, and what does that exactly mean. I would like to start from that very purpose, that point, because normally by self-development, many of us understand how we can talk, how we appear to others, how we get appreciated, or at best, how we excel in our career. But there is a higher dimension of self-development in which our very nature, our madam, I have started. Your video got stuck up on my part.
yes,
Is it
sir.
okay?
Yes, sir. It's okay, sir.
Thank you. Uh, this self-development in this case means something greater, something of very great import in our life. And this means we change our tendencies, we change how we think, how we look at the world, how we look at life itself. And starting from that, we gradually develop our faculties, all our powers, like our physical power, our intellect, our emotional power, that is the power of feeling and empathy, to be able to feel for others, to be able to behave properly in a socially desirable way. So, all these things can be natural within us more and more as we grow. We are all growing in some way, but mostly that is an unconscious process. We take care of so many things. We take care of money, we take care of our career, we take care of our families, but normally we don't take care of our own life, our own qualities, our own mind, feelings, anxieties, depressions, and whatever goes on inside us, because our lookout, our attitude makes us very outward oriented. Outwardly, we are always engaged so much that we have no time to look inward, and we do not know exactly how we are growing and how things are happening inside. But whatever we do, behind that is our thinking, our willing, our imagination, and all these things. So that part is also very important. And to develop that properly, we need a great care for our own life, our own inner life, and strive persistently, consciously, with great care to develop our own faculties. We can sum up these faculties in three three things, with three things that are in the makeup of man. That is our physical power, our intellectual and mental power, and the power of feeling for others. And we can use three words to signify these three powers. One is hand, which stands for physical power. Second is head, which stands for our mental and intellectual power. And heart, that feels for all. A balanced growth, a balanced development of all these three H's can make us very great in life. And there, if you see the history of mankind, there has been so many people, even in our own time. Many of you students have listened to or read about APJ Abdul Kalam, for example. He was that kind of a man who took care of all round development. And reading, the issue of reading comes in that context today, because we read for different purposes actually. We may take three particular purposes to divide the issue uh, for the sake of clarity. One is we read for information. Two, we read for entertainment and enjoyment. And three, we read for getting great ideas and inspiration. Now, for information and entertainment, we have another revolution after the printing technology came to revolutionize the world. First China, then Europe, then gradually the rest of the world. Then in our times, with the advent of internet, we have so much easy availability of audiovisual media. And that is somewhat useful in gathering information. Information means starting from news to our studies, everything. We gather information on various subjects, on various current affairs, etc. And for entertainment, we may go for uh, either reading or listening to or watching thrillers to uh, classics like literary masterpieces and all. But there is a difference between these two media in that, in certain respects, audiovisual media has certain advantages over print media. That is true. But print media cannot be replaced altogether by this audiovisual media, even for entertainment or enjoyment of a higher kind. Because when you read a good book, a good classic, say, you have the opportunity to automatically stop, to ponder, to think over it. And along with the author, you are a co creator in the process. And that is called artful reading. You are also creating, you are thinking, you are trying to solve problems, you are creating the personalities with your own vivid imagination in your mind. So everything is supplied in the audiovisual media, all the expressions, all the characters, and everything. But when you read things, you have an active role in that. That is active reading. No, you are not a passive consumer, you are an active creator in the process. And this applies even more in the case of self development. If we become interested and if we become aware of the importance of developing ourselves and become aware of how great potentials every human being has, and we can express that if we try consciously and persistently, and if we do that seriously, we'll try to gather not just information and enjoyment through all these media, but these are great sources of ideas and inspiration, as I said. Ideas means we come to recognize through thinking for ourselves, with the help of reading, with the help of coming across great thoughts of other people, other great thinkers. Finally, we think for ourselves and find out intellectually what is right for us, what is right for life, and what is the right way to build a better future for humanity. These are the ideas for individuals as well as for society that we live in. And the second aspect is dry ideas are not enough to transform our life in real life. We need inspiration, and that comes through deep association with great life, and that is not available actually in our surroundings normally, but we can have it by reading the life of great people, great men and women of the world. And that is the great purpose that reading can serve in the context of self development. Now, when we start studying, how do we approach? Suppose there are so many crores of millions of books available in the market, both in the hard copy format and e-books. So we have to select. We have to be very selective. We do not have infinite time, and we cannot land on destructive things either. Jesus Christ said a wonderful thing: beware of false prophets. And we may, in imitation of that, we may add, beware of false books also, false authors, and false leaders. So we should strive to select for ourselves what is right for us and how do we go about it. First, when we come across a book, we should first look at it have a first look, kind of, we should survey the book. What is the content of the book? Next, I should question myself why at all I would like to read it. What purpose does it serve? Does it serve any positive purpose in my life? If yes, then I read it. And when I read it, I don't follow the thoughts blindly. I read it with my own brain working actively all the time, analyzing things, questioning things, and with a scientific spirit, with an open mind, not with preconceived ideas or cognitive biases, but with an open mind. We try to see various angles and compare these ideas presented through the books with what I already know to be correct, surely, and whatever I have gained through experience. So that is a kind of reading, active reading, that we should go through. And then, if we find that, yes, this book has very great things, it is full of great things, and it needs to be inculcated, it needs to be assimilated, digested, these ideas, then we should repeat it in some way. Maybe we read the book thoroughly again. Maybe we jot down the major points that I have remembered and think over them again and again to get a more vivid picture, to visualize it in our mind. Because imagination, the faculty of imagination, has a great role to play in reading. Not only our analytical power, not only our reasoning power, but also our power of imagination. Because everything that we know, that we analyze, that this is not dry mathematics, this is about life, this is about society. So unless we can see things in our own mind, what is there in the book? There are some black marks on a white paper, but these are ideas that must become living in me. So these living ideas can come if we can visualize, and our faculty of imagination comes to great help. And finally, we should review what I have gained through all these things, whether I have been able to get anything practical, whether I have applied them, whether after applying I have got some benefit out of it. So these 5 steps, these have been summarized through a nice formula. S for survey, initial survey of the book. Q for questioning, questioning the purpose of reading the book. R for reading, for active reading with analytical reasoning and all. Again, R for repetition or recitation. And finally, R for review. That is SQ and 3 R's. SQ 3 R's. With this, with a selected book, we can go on reading very selected things and inculcate them. And after all that, gradually it must become a habit with us. But one thing, even if we read every day, read books full of positive energy and inspiration with full of right ideas, we won't benefit much unless we approach the book with keen eagerness to know, to learn, and with questions. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a wonderful usage, pariprashnena, along with questions, questioning, along with that is with inquiry. I want to know something, I have some questions. That is why I have come to this book or I have come to this learned man or a great man. Next is always the it is very much advisable not to read too much. Only very few selected books. I don't mean very few, I don't mean just one or two, but uh, too much of reading in the beginning itself is not good. Gradually, just like we start from grade one and then get into grade two, three, four. We pass the secondary examination, then higher secondary, then enter the college and university and all these things. Like that, gradually we should expand. We should start from small books. Small books also often contain the very gist, the essence of many great thoughts. And if you scan thousands of books, finally you will find that there are only a few genuinely interesting and important principles running through all these things, taking various forms through various authors. Maybe sometimes it comes through novels like The Alchemist, sometimes it comes through fiery messages like those of Swami Vivekananda, sometimes it comes through uh, an autobiography like The Wings of Fire. But there are the same principles that we can discover ourselves also, and we have to discover them within ourselves ultimately. But that rubbing for the sake of igniting the fire within, for that purpose, we need to come across these books, these great thinkers, these great lives, and more than the dry ideas, we need inspiration. We need a great message. We need a great life. And the power of association, that is great in human life. If we are associated with this kind of books through our life, then our life will definitely acquire a new dimension, acquire a new kind of faith in our own power. It doesn't bring, the right ideas never bring dependence on others. They make us free to grow free, to think freely. That strength, that strength we can get through these books. I'd request the students present to uh, to put their thoughts or questions, if any, in the message box so that we may try to interact and discuss these things a little bit with the left time. The I want to add just a few words more, and that is, I've already mentioned a few books for students. I'd like to mention a few more. Of course, to my understanding, if you read the life and message of Swami Vivekananda, he was the prophet of youth, youth power. And if you come across his life, you'll find that burning love for humanity, for the oppressed people, and the scientific ideas, the thoroughly scientific mind, the great genius that will ignite your fire. There is somebody who doesn't give you some temporary tips, some motivational speech like things. uh, Not just it gives something, a life changing experience. If you read his life, you know about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. If you read his autobiography, An Indian Pilgrim, you will see he wrote, I was barely 15 when Swami Vivekananda entered my life. That is, he came across his books. And then he says, and then there followed a revolution within. and everything was turned upside down. That is the kind of life transforming experience that you'll go through it. And if every day you read a little bit of Vivekananda or uh, the people who came later, like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and APJ Abdul Kalam, your life will have that kind of tonic. Every day we take tonic for strength. This will give us strength. As we go in life, we face so much of struggle. We face anxieties, depressions, and so many things, but it will be easy to conquer all these things. You will be able to conquer all these things and bring out your potentials, and each of you will become great in your lives. It is not that Vivekananda was great or Subhash Chandra Bose was great or APJ Abdul Kalam was great only. Each of you must become great in your own way, of course, not imitating any of them, but they can work like a fire that ignites other lamps. And I wish that those of you who are not very accustomed to reading, make it a persistent effort to read every day consistently. Consistency is the king of the thing. Without consistency, we cannot achieve anything in life. We must strive anything with great care and devotion and consistency. And wherever I have suggested certain names, but whatever is your inspiration, that you take up and do it with all your heart and make your life a success. I thank you all and wish you all the best in the journey of life and wish that all of you become great, and may the art of reading also help you in that journey. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your valuable lecture, and thank you for being with us in this webinar in spite of your busy schedule. At the end of this session, I believe that by participating in this webinar, we all have gained something valuable. Together, let us take the resolution to develop the habit of reading books for self development and scale up good practices to live with hope and positive energy in this troubled time. Once again, thank you, sir. We again in future also. Sir, another one question has been posted in the chat box. How would you address the issue book reading is challenging by the use of internet through mobile, laptops, tab and other gadgets?
Yes, actually, that is there, but I have tried to make a comparison. If we understand the advantages of reading over viewing audiovisual content or things like that, or just listening to audio, no, audio things. So there are some advantages of that is also a form of art, this audiovisual media, and for gathering information and for the sake of enjoyment, we have certain good things also if we have to choose there also. But reading itself cannot be replaced with that. So that is something that is to be understood by the present generations, that whatever the big companies want us to choose, we are not going to choose. We are going to make a proper balance in our life and put things where they should be, and make balanced use of all these media according to our requirement for the sake of our development. For if we become great and become real genuine people and good citizens of India, then our democracy will also thrive in a real sense, and the backward people will also benefit gradually. That great future we must bring about. So we may start with ourselves in this process, and gradually these ideas through these means, like we are discussing, for that very purpose, that reading is, we are losing this habit. But we have to regain that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, hope in future also we have another program with you, either in virtual mode or in physical mode also. Thank you all participants for participating this webinar, today's webinar, themed as importance of reading for self-development. Thank you all. We are ending our today's session. Thank you.
Thank you.